I think my favorite thing about the band, and my favorite song, probably just because of the title alone, is "Sanded Faithless." But I really I really love the way that you guys just are so creative with like kind of the stuff that you come up with. Like, I mean, obviously there's I can name 100 songs that have brilliant titles and subject matter. So that's definitely
well. See, I'm glad that you are actually, you know, like praising us about that, because there's so many haters out there. Like I see people just saying, "Oh man, they're running out of ideas. That's so stale." And it's just like you gotta not pay attention to these trolls.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's. It's like I have friends that are way into like the Star Wars thing or whatever. They're always complaining about the latest comic book movie or whatever, and I'm like, make your own movie. You know, it's like.
Yeah, it's like, what do you got? Let me critique your work.
Yeah, it's really easy to sit on the sideline and go, well, they didn't do it the way that I want it. And it's like, okay, well, make your own art then.
Right, and I think, you know, I've been seeing this attitude developing over the years, and I think it's due to social media, you know, like, before we had all these, you know, platforms for people to say all this stuff through a computer instead of like telling somebody to their face.
Yeah.
You know, now everybody's just like shit talking everybody instead of being positive and, you know, complimenting people.
Well, and a lot of these kids have never been beat up, you know, and it's like the kids that are saying stuff about you guys on the forum or whatever, they're not coming to your concerts and say it to you in person, you know?
Yeah, like they're just going on there to start shit with the real fans, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, to me, it takes a lot of skill to keep coming up with like good ideas like that. So,
well, you know what it is, like there's some really fucked up shit going on in this world, and a lot of the stuff that we talk about, we're getting it from stuff that really happens. You know, like.
Yeah.
You don't have to look too far for crazy stuff that's happening in the world, you know?
Open the newspaper and find the most disgustingly violent thing you could find for the day. And
well, yeah, I mean, the new single that we released, Inhumane Harvest, I wrote that about, like, this whole, the underground, like, this black market organ trade that's going on with people getting abducted, or, you know, they just take all their organs and then dump them off somewhere, and they're making profit off of it.
Oh, wow.
And that's happening as we speak, probably in a bunch of different countries, you know, especially China.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's interesting. I think that's one of the things I've always loved about metal too, is it kind of cloaks itself in like the evil, dark vibes, but when you really dig deep into like a band like Slayer, right? Angel of Death is about the Holocaust, you know. It sounds spooky and evil on the surface, but when you really dig into the meat of the intellectual meat of it, the substance of it, it's actually talking about real stuff. So
yeah, and that's what I really like about a lot of Slayer's later lyrics, you know, like the earlier stuff was more like how we were doing a lot of fictional lyrics, and more in the earlier days. Well, before I was in the band, a lot of it was more fictional, you know, like about zombies and stuff like that. But in the later years, we started going more nonfiction, talking about like real life crime and stuff like that. And that's what I always liked about Slayer, too, the way that they developed their lyrics into talking about more reality stuff than fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's truth is stranger than fiction a lot of times. So
yeah, but don't get me wrong. I mean, a lot of our lyrics are total fiction, you know, like
sure.
A lot of these songs are like, all right, well, when does that really happen? You know,
right.
But that's what makes it, there's almost like a comedic edge to it almost. I mean, we definitely take what we do serious, but sometimes we're just going for over the top gore to where it's just so twisted that like you gotta laugh about it.
and that's exactly why I love a song like Sanded Faithless. You know, it's like, it's such a ridiculous premise, it's such a funny, and even the way that you guys put it together, the way it starts with the kind of like back masking thing, it almost sounds like a standard and stuff. So it's brilliant, you know. And
yeah, like we don't consider ourselves a joke band or like some sort of parody band or anything, but I mean, you can't take yourselves like so serious all the time, you know. Like
right.
Some of these lyrics that Paul writes, especially, I'm like, it's just making me laugh when I read them. I'm like, wow, this is just fucking brutal as shit.
Yeah.